Okay, so today we continue, yeah. All right. Okay. We continue with chapter 6. Okay, but before we continue, I just want to know whether you have any problem with previous lecture. Okay, chapter 5. Okay, so any problem with chapter 5, short-term decision making? So tak ada apa ke Okay, you did your quiz too, so hopefully you can answer lah, because I tak tengok lagi you punya marks for quiz 2, but later lah after finish everything, so I will try to see your results. Okay, so long-term decision making. So if you have no problem with short-term decision making, so today we continue with long-term decision making. Okay, so what do you understand with the long-term decision making? Do you have any idea regarding long-term decision making? Okay, right, long-term decision making, we also can say it as a capital budgeting decision. Okay, capital budgeting decision. So, so talking about this, yeah, capital means what? Money. Okay, capital means money lah. So, when talking about this capital budgeting decision or capital budgeting process, it will involve outlay. Okay, cash outlay. Okay, you invest, you put money. Okay, so means that you will involve a cash outlay now. Okay, now, in order to obtain return. Okay, in future. Okay, so kita ada dua words kat sini, now and future. So means that you put money to get return. When you put money, now. When you get return, in future. So because of this, yeah, this capital budgeting is referring to long term. So long term means that more than 1 year. So here, okay, you just put in simply words lah. Okay, so you have to put money today to get return in tomorrow lah, for example. Okay, kalau tomorrow tu maybe 1 year lah, 1 year. So because this is a long term. Okay, so that's why here we say is a capital budgeting, because this one is a decision making approach aimed to help managers make decision about investment in major capital asset, okay, such as new facilities, equipment, new products, and research and development project. So what you have to have in your mind is capital budgeting is for long term. Long term means that more than 1 year. You invest now to get return in maybe more a year after. Okay, so the decision basically include these 5 major capital lah. Alright. So first, maybe in terms of the equipment selection. Equipment selection ni relate with for example, if you have several okay, several equipment lah to buy. Okay. But then takkan you want to buy all, right? Okay. So you have several equipment to buy. So you have to choose. You have to select to buy equipment A or to buy equipment B. So you have to use capital budgeting decision. So same with the plant expansion. Plant expansion maybe in terms of you needs to acquire a new plant, okay, in order to increase capacity, sales. So you have to make a decision. Okay, maybe you have to acquire new plant. Also come under capital budgeting decision making. Okay, equipment replacement. Maybe before this you have old equipment. Then you want to replace with the new equipment. Worth or not? If you want to replace now or you need to replace later. Okay, so you also need to make a decision. And then in terms of the lease or buy, okay, same. Okay, means that you have equipment, whether you should lease or purchase new equipment. Okay, lease or purchase new equipment. Also, you need to make a decision, and or you purchase new equipment, okay, to reduce cost. Okay, should you purchase a new equipment to reduce cost? Also need you to make a decision. So this is all actually decision, okay, about investment in major capital assets. If you remember what we have learned in previous chapter, short-term decision making, we just want to choose, right? Either want to buy a Mac because you want to make a decision now, okay? But then here, you need to make a decision now in order to have return in future. Okay, that's okay. Means by this long-term decision making. Okay, so for this capital investment decision, we have two main types of decision. First, screening decision. Second is preference decision. So screening decision means that you have to screen whether the project or the investment that you want to invest is acceptable or not. Okay, tu maksudnya screen. You kena screen dulu. This one come first. Okay, the screening decision must come first before you do preference decision. Okay, you have to screen. For example lah, okay, for example, your company, okay, set a policy, okay, to accept project if return at least 20%, for example. Okay, kita example. So you screen the investment. So if that investment can give more than 20% return, yes, you can accept it. If less, so maybe you have to reject. So this is what means by the screening decision. So let's say you have two alternative lah, investment A and B. So both of these give more return. For example, the company set 20%, so A give you 21%, B give you 30%. So you must choose. So then after you screen, so both of them can be accepted, but then you have to choose only one. So you can rank, okay? Attempt to rank acceptable alternative from the most to least appealing. So maybe you rank B first, A second, because B can give you more return compared to A. Okay, so that's why I say screening decision is come first before you can do the preference decision. Okay, because preference decision is you select from among several acceptable alternative. Okay, kalau macam ada dua, yang dua-dua tu acceptable because more than what the company said, but then you kena pilih, alright, among several acceptable alternative, which one better? Okay, give better return lah. Okay, so you ambil B lah sebab B lebih kan 30. Contoh, this is the example. Alright, so then the decision also, okay, the project or investment can be placed into two categories. Okay, independent project, mutually exclusive project. So independent project here means that project are unrelated. So you invest in one does not eliminate investing in the other project. So if you accept A, okay, not necessary you will reject B. Okay, so because this one is independent project. But if mutually exclusive project, if you accept A, you have to reject B. Okay, because this one competing, okay, alternative. Okay, so accepting one leads to rejection of the others. Okay, two decision dia lah can be placed into two categories. Okay, boleh tak setakat ni? Any question? Okay, nah? Baru 3 slide tu. 3 slide maksudnya tadi saya cerita tentang type ataupun saya cerita tentang beberapa investment lah. Okay, company can do. Okay, and then in terms of the types of decision, first we need to screen, and then second we have to choose, and then this is the categories of the capital or investment or project, independent and also mutually. Okay, you need to understand this because later on, okay, we have to make a decision, okay, for this type of project. Okay, so in order to make a decision, we need to have these methods. Okay, we need to have this method. And then I think it's not too hard compared to short-term decision making. Okay, this is very easy lah to understand. And then I think you have learned in your FAR paper or financial FM paper. Okay, so it's not difficult, okay, to understand. Okay, so we have two methods lah for this to make a decision. Okay, first method, non-discounting method, and then second, discounted cash flow method. So discounted cash flow method here, you have to use time value of money. Okay, you have to use time value of money. Okay, so for non-discounting method, we have two ways, okay, to approach lah. Accounting rate of return, okay, and then payback period. So for this accounting rate of return and payback period, we no need to transfer, or we no need to convert it into time value of money. Okay, we just take whatever we have. For example, for accounting rate of return, we will base on net income, but for payback period, we will use cash flow. Okay, but then it's just a cash flow, no need to convert into time value of money. Okay, but then for discounted cash flow method, we have three approaches: MPV, IRR, and also PI, profitability index. And then these three, okay, we will need to convert the cash flow into time value of money. That's why here we need to use table. Kalau you biasa ada table annuity dengan table PV of $1 kan, RM1. You tahu kan, you ada kan table ni? Ada tak table ni? Do you have this table? Sebab bila kita buat, you have to refer to that table. Okay, in your exam we will provide you the table. But then when we do the exercise during class, so you have to have your own table of annuity and also table of present value of RM1 or $1. Okay, you kena ada table tu. So if you don't know how to read the table, you have to let me know lah. Alright, but I believe that all of you know how to read the table. Okay, sebab you dah belajar dalam FAR and also in your FM paper. Okay, so we have these 5 approaches. Okay, 2 under non-discounting methods and then 3 under discounted cash flow method. Okay, so dia bagi you example, basic example here. Okay, kalau you tengok. Okay, this one to illustrate how the 5 capital, how 5 capital budgeting method works. So they give you example. Okay, Apple iPod division. Okay, concentrating on producing a special version of the iPod Touch that will be marketed to children and their parents. So they want to invest in this iKids Touch. Okay, so this is the project. Okay, initial investment 1 million. Project life is 5 years. Okay, and then there's no salvage value. And then for annual revenue and cost data, okay, from this investment, they assume or they projected sales is 700,000 and then less all the cash operating expenses, depreciation expense and net operating income. So the question is, basic question. Manager want to know whether this proposed project is worth. Okay, is worth means that with this upfront investment, initial investment here 1 million, is it worth to wait until 5 years to get the return? Okay, so okay tak kita nak invest? So kalau you diberi project and then they want you to evaluate, kalau you pergi company nanti bila you keluar and then the company ask you, okay, this is our planned project. So can you evaluate whether this project is worth or not? Okay, to proceed. So you have to know lah how you want to evaluate. Okay, with this project, they expect that they can get net operating income for the whole for each year of 5 years. Okay, so from kita boleh evaluate based on first ARR, accounting rate of return. Okay, so for accounting rate of return, basic formula is annual net income divide initial investment. This is the formula. Okay, annual net income. So kalau in question in exam later, you understand, to get that net operating income, you have to prepare income statement lah, sales minus all the expenses, baru you dapat net operating income, kan? So kalau dia dah bagi, okay. But then if they just give you item, so you have to prepare income statement first in order you to get this net operating income before you can proceed to this formula. Okay, you faham tak? Sometimes kita tak bagi you direct or straightforward the net operating income. Sometimes we give you. Okay, but then if they don't give you, okay, this one is a basic, basic statement that you need to know how to prepare it, how to get the net operating income. You kena tahu how to get the net operating income. If they just give you the item and don't give you the net operating income. So you kena cari sendiri before you can proceed to this formula. Okay, so with this formula, from the question, you know that, after you calculate everything, so you get the net income is 108,000. You divide with the initial investment, you get the accounting rate of return. Okay, So maksudnya this is a very simple formula. Okay, just use this formula to get the accounting rate of return. But the weaknesses, okay, the time value of money is ignored. We just take the money as it is je lah. Alright? And then the accounting rate of return is based on the accounting net income instead of cash flow. Because to get this accounting net income, we actually include the depreciation. Depreciation is, as you understand, is a non-cash flow. Okay, depreciation. And then the depreciation also can be calculated by several ways. Maybe straight line, maybe reducing balance method. You belajar semua ni dalam FA kan. So each method give different figure. Okay, so when you have different figure, it will affect reported net income. So when it affect reported net income, it will affect the ARR, because ARR will use net operating income. Okay, and divide with the initial investment. So that's why this one become weaknesses, okay, of ARR lah. Okay, so kalau dalam question tanya apa kekurangan or weakness of ARR, you can answer this lah, right? The time value money of no, and then accounting rate of return based on net income instead of cash flow, because when it comes to if they don't use cash flow, means that they have to consider the non-cash flow as well. Okay, for example, depreciation. You boleh bagilah not only depreciation, dan ada lagi item-item lain non-cash tu. Okay, so you have to know. Okay, this is ARR. Senang je. ARR you ingat? Okay, net operating income divide initial investment. Okay. Then okay, kalau tengok sini, dia compare between net cash flow and net income. So if you want to know the net cash flow, you just add back the non-cash to the net operating income. So if in this question, example is just depreciation expense, so you just add back to the net operating income to get the net cash flow 308,000. Okay, so the difference lah between net cash flow and net income, because after this only ARR use net income. Okay, and then the rest approaches will use net cash flow. Okay, you kena ingat satu je yang guna net income, iaitu ARR. Yang lain 4 lagi tu akan guna net cash flow. Okay, so that nombor 1 lah, approach 1. Second is a payback period. Payback period is also non-discounting method, because we don't consider to convert the cash flow into time value of money. That's why kita call it as non-discounting method. But then this payback period for cash for inflow money, we will use cash. Okay, inflow. Okay, we will use cash inflow. So means that we will consider only cash flow. Kita tak ambil net income, but then we will use cash flow. Okay. So payback period. Apa maksud dia payback period ni? Kita invest. For example, you invest 10,000 today. When you invest 10,000, this is a money, right? So this money maybe you from loan, okay, or from your saving. So you need to cover back what you have put in your business. So we want to know how long it will take. So we can calculate it by using this payback period. So payback period is actually time that it takes for an investment to pay for itself, because this investment can give you return. So kita nak tahu berapa lama this return can cover the investment that you provide, okay, initially. So the basic rules there, okay, the more quickly the cost of investment can be recovered, the more desirable is the investment. So the shorter the time the investment, okay, can be recovered, the better that investment lah. Okay, the better the investment. So dia punya rule, you akan ambil the shorter the time to, okay, cover the investment, the better that investment lah. Alright. So kalau you ada 2-3 projek, you tengoklah kalau dia sini setahun dah boleh cover, yang ni 3 tahun, better you choose this project with the same investment lah. With the same investment, project A can cover 1 year, project B can cover 3 years, so you can select project A. Okay, and then reject project B. Okay, so let's say, okay, using the same example, if the net cash flow here is same every year. Okay, this net cash flow same every year, so you can use this formula. Okay, initial investment divide annual net cash flow, okay, to get payback period. Okay, initial investment, sometimes we also can use investment required. Okay, sama. Okay, investment required, initial investment sama. Okay, based on the question yang tadi, okay, so initial investment is 1 million. Okay, so each year for 5 years, they can provide, okay, 308,000 annual net cash flow. Okay, so when you divide into this two, okay, you can get payback period is 3.25 years. So the payback period, okay, expressed in year here. So maksudnya 1 million ni dengan investment 1 million, return banyak ni setiap tahun, dia boleh cover the investment selama 3 tahun 3.25 tahun. Okay, so to payback period. Okay, so if I give you example, ya, tadi kalau kita kata yang ni dia tak sebut, dia just sebut investment. So let's say for example, your investment, okay, tadi kita tahu ada 5 types kan, 5 jenis lah. Okay, you nak buat new investment. So for example, you want to replace, okay, this is example lah. You want to replace old equipment to new equipment. So of course you have to invest, okay, in this project. But we don't know whether this new equipment, this investment can give you, can be acceptable or not. Okay, so you have to, okay, calculate lah. Kalau you replace this old equipment with new equipment, so as for example, you replace old equipment and then this old equipment have salvage value, boleh jual lagi, dia ada nilai lagi about 5,000 for example, and you want to buy new equipment, the cost of new equipment is 80,000. Okay, and then information regarding net operating income. Okay, net operating income is 20,000 and then depreciation is 10,000. Okay, this is information lah given. Alright, so if you want to calculate payback period, okay, payback period formula is initial investment or investment required divide cash flow, right? Okay, so you have to calculate lah. So for cash flow both lah net income 20,000 you plus depreciation, right? Non-cash to get the cash inflow. So for investment, you have, this is your cost, new cost, 80,000. But then you must minus salvage value of all equipment, 5,000. So the actual investment required is only 75,000. So to calculate the payback period, just take 75,000 divide 30,000. So it takes 2.5 years to recover the investment. Okay, so if you don't understand, okay, the salvage value, all the things here, you will take new investment 80,000. Okay, so mungkin you akan you nak cover 80,000. Okay, so you nak tahu berapa lama you boleh cover 80,000. But then actually the investment required is only 75,000 because the 5,000 is already get from the old equipment. Okay, so kalau tengok sini 2.5 years saja diperlukan. Okay, kalau you ambil 80 maybe more, kan? Okay, tu kalau replace equipment. But then if you may be given a question to make a decision to expand the plan. So sama jugalah case dia. You have to calculate the cash flow. Okay, you have to calculate the investment in order to get the payback period. Okay, but this is if we assume the cash flow is similar or equal for each year for 5 years. What if when annual cash flow are unequal? Okay, so the payback period must be computed on a year-by-year basis by subtracting the net cash flow from the unpaid investment balance each year. So, kalau you tengok sini, example dia, so each of this year, okay, year 1, the annual net cash flow is 250. Okay, unequal. Year 2, 300. Year 3, 340. Year 4, 375. But the initial investment is 1 million. So we want to know how many years it will take to recover this 1 million. So you just deduct, okay, the starting investment with this annual cash flow. So for 1 year, for year 1, balance unpaid investment is 750. And then this 750 bring forward to year 2. And then after getting the cash flow, okay, 300,000, you minus, you get this figure and then bring it to the year 3 and then same, okay, you will get unpaid investment 110,000 and then this one also bring to year 4. And then year 4, if you get more, okay, compared to balance of investment. So of course lah, you can cover the investment 3 years full, but plus, okay, year 4. Okay, but plus a month in year 4. So how many months? We don't know. But you can get from the 110,000 investment balance divide by the annual cash flow. So untuk year this one, you will get 0.29. So the payback period is actually 3 plus 0.29. 3.3 lah, about 3.3 years. Okay. Okay, you tak boleh jawab the payback period is somewhere between 3 and 4 years because we actually want to know the exact lebih kurang. Ni lah. 3 tahun lebih, but 3 tahun berapa? 3 tahun, 3 bulan ke, 3 tahun, 5 bulan ke. Alright? So you dapatkan balance ni by you dividing the investment balance tu dengan annual net cash flow yang dia dapat untuk tahun yang terakhir tu. Okay, baru you tahu berapa bulan dia boleh cover dalam tahun yang keempat. Okay? Boleh tak? Any question? This is a payback period. Boleh? Any question? Okay, boleh faham tak? Alright. Okay. So same with the ARR witnesses. Time value of money is ignored. The payback period ignore cash flow after the payback period. Okay. Maksudnya tadi selepas dia dah bayar habis, so dia don't bother lah. Okay. Berapa pun dia nak dapat annual cash flow. Okay, sebab dia dah cover dah investment yang pertama tadi. Okay, so that's why lah mention here, the payback period ignore cash flow after the payback period. Okay, so this is a payback period. Okay, boleh nak? Alright. So, tak ada soalan lah. For payback period ARR. That one is non-discounting method. Okay. So next is time value of money. Okay, tadi kan kita bagi tahu, okay, we have two methods, non-discounting method and the discounted cash flow method. So for discounted cash flow method, we have three, right? NPV, IRR, and also PI. And then this one also based on cash flow. But the cash flow here must be converted into time value of money. Okay, kalau yang tadi payback period and also ARR, just ARR using net income. But for payback period, even though they use cash flow, but then this cash flow doesn't converted to time value of money. It just, they ignore the time value of money. Okay, that's why this method called non-discounting method. But for this NPV, IRR, PI, we will use time value of money, and then this one is under discounted cash flow method. Okay? Alright. So what you need to understand here, for time value of money, okay, we have to compounding interest and second, discounting back to today's dollar. So you have to understand these two, know to differentiate these two between this compounding interest and also future value and also present value. So this one, future value. Future value means that you have this money today. Okay. But then you want to know in 1 year time or in 3 year time, okay, how much you will have. Okay, how much you will have. So like if you have RM1 today, in 1 year time, you want to know how much this 1 ringgit become. Okay, sama lah. So we will use this future value, compounding interest. Okay, so that's why this one, yeah, for future value, we want to know if with this project, okay, when or how much it will return. Okay, so the project that promised earlier return are more preferable to those that promise later return. So for example lah, so with 1,000 ni, you can invest into project A and B. Okay, so if A can give you return earlier, maybe in 2 years, compared to B in 3 years, so it's better for you to choose A. Okay, so samalah tu konsep dia. Okay, maksudnya you ada duit hari ni, berapa you akan ada for that for another 3 years. Okay, but different with the present value, discounting. Here, you just think, okay, saya for next year, January 2000, for example, in January 2022, you insist to have 1,000. Okay, you insist to have 1,000. So how much that you need today to invest in order you to get this 1,000? You nak tahu yang ni? Yang tadi, you nak tahu yang ni? Okay, you nak tahu 3 tahun akan datang you dapat berapa? But here, you dah boleh, you insist to have this money. You say, okay, I want 1,000 in 3 years. But what should I invest? But how much should I invest today? You nak tahu. Also, based on your calculation, you say, okay, today I just need 751 in order me to get 1,000 in 2022. For example lah. Alright, so yang ni you nak tahu yang depan. Yang tadi, compounding, you want to know the future. Okay, boleh tak? Tu maksud time value of money, kita ada 2. Okay, discounting dengan compounding tu. Future value, present value. Okay, jangan bertukar. Because nanti, in the question, if you don't know or if you don't understand the statement given, sama ada yang dia bagi tu adalah nilai sekarang untuk tahu masa depan ataupun yang dia expect nak dapat masa depan untuk nak tahu nilai sekarang. So which one? You have to read carefully the statement. If you don't read carefully the statement, maybe you will mix lah, okay, in terms of your answer later. Okay, that's why you need to understand, okay? So, saya stress kat sini for time value of money, you have to know the future value and also present value. Future value means that you want to know the figure, okay, in future. This one, you know the future, you expect you can get certain amount this future, but then you want to know what should be in present, okay, for present value. Okay, yang ni kita panggil discounting factor. This one is compounding factor. Okay, boleh lah? Okay, so this one is time value of money. So hopefully you understand. Saya try use very simple, okay, statement lah. Tak mau nanti you complicated. Okay, boleh tak? Okay, boleh tak? Ada yang tak faham ni? Soalan masuk? Soalan final dah ni? Okay, boleh nak? Alright. So, thank you for the answer. Alright. So, next. Okay, macam yang saya tadi kita bagi tahu, we have 3 methods. Net present value, internal rate of return, profitability index. Okay, this is the assumption by using these approaches. So, assumption of future cash flow happen at the end of the year. Cash inflow immediately reinvested in another project. All cash can be projected with 100% certainty. Kita kata kalau, okay, in 3 years we will get 20,000, so means that 100% certain, okay, to get 20,000. Okay, so first, net present value. Okay, so for net present value is actually, okay, very important lah this one. Okay, this net present value is superior to the other capital budgeting techniques. Okay, so where this net present value is determined whether or not the project is an acceptable investment. So you have to calculate the net present value to decide whether you want to accept the project or the investment or not. Okay, so the net present value method compare the present value of project future cash inflow to the present value of the cash outflow. Means that the net present value ni, you compare between present value inflow, cash inflow, and present value cash outflow. So if the answer is positive or 0, you accept the project. But if the answer is negative, so you reject or not accept the investment. Okay, so we use okay, the reason we don't take accounting income in net present value because okay, net accounting income based on accrual. Ignore the timing of cash flow into and out of an organization. That's why we take outflow, cash outflow and inflow. Okay, we don't take accounting net income in calculating the net present value. Okay, so this is the step. Okay, you have to choose discount rate, the minimum required rate of return. Ni, selalunya dalam soalan ada given. And then sometimes rate of return, they also call as a cost of capital. Okay, so if given cost of capital in the question, okay, tak ada dah yang lain, so it means that is rate of return. Okay, and then you calculate the present value of cash inflow, the present value of cash outflow, macam saya bagi tahu tadi, and then to get the NPV, these two inflow minus outflow. And then same with what I discussed just now. If the net present value positive and 0, you accept. Okay. But if negative, not accept or you reject. Okay. Because positive or 0, positive means that what you promise, what the investment promise to give greater than the required rate of return. Okay. And then if 0 means that same, equal. But if negative means that the investment promise a return less than the required rate of return. Of course lah, because required rate of return basically set by the company. Okay, but then investment give less than what the company set. So of course they will reject the investment. Okay, so this is the example. Back to the previous example. So if the required rate of return is 12%, okay, the new product will generate 308,000 in cash flow for each of the next 5 years. So each of the next 5 years. So maksudnya from year 1 to year 5, the inflow, cash inflow is 308,000. Okay, setiap tahun sama. Okay, and then the company required rate of return is 12%. So if the investment, okay, this investment give less than this 12%, means that we have to reject it. Okay, so to know this based on the NPV calculation. So here annuity. Sebab apa annuity? Because for each of 5 years, the cash flow is same. Kalau dia asing-asing, kita tak guna annuity, kan? Okay? So kalau you nak tengok table, saya tahu you all dah tahu kan. So selalunya sini year, you can tengok this 5 years. And then you tengok atas ada percentage of 12%. And then you take this figure, and then actually this figure is here lah. Alright, so you baca table tu macam tu, but then this table is annuity because the cash is equal for each year. Okay, then so you boleh darab lah annual cash flow ni, inflow 308,000 time with this, you will get this present value. And then for initial investment, actually now kan 1 million, you supposed to time with the 1. Okay, only 1. Okay, so you will get this figure, and then NPV is positive. So positive means that the promised return investment more than required rate of return. That's why positive, this positive means. So kita akan accept. Okay, so since the NPV is positive, we know the rate of return is greater than the 12% discount rate or rate required rate of return. So ROR ni juga dipanggil discount rate lah, sama. Okay. Okay, boleh lah. But this one is if the cash flow is equal. But what if the cash flow is unequal for 5 years tu? Year 1, 2050, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Semua tak sama. So, you have to see from the table PV of $1. Okay. So, maksudnya kena tengok 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is 12%, but the table is for PV of $1. Jangan annuity. Annuity when the cash is equal, but here the cash is unequal. So you have to take the rate here lah. So sangat lain kan. So when you calculate, you can dapat sini, and then the total present value you will get here, and same you have minus initial investment. So you will get the NPV positive. So NPV positive means that the promised return from the investment is greater than the required rate of return of the company. Okay. Boleh ya? So that is NPV. Okay, NPV formula dia satu je. Okay. You cari PV for cash inflow, you cari PV for cash outflow. Okay. And then you minus this one, you dapatlah NPV. So kalau positif or zero, accept the project. If negative, not accept the project. Okay, itu je. Okay, selalunya student akan problem here lah. If we give you unequal, okay, problem here because you don't know where to get this factor. Okay, that's why I say you have to practice to read from the table. If you don't know how to read from table, you have to study lah. You have to try to ask your friends, or if you don't want, you can ask me. You can let me know lah if you don't know how to read. Satu lagi, student akan confuse. Okay, sometimes cash dia tak akan bagi straightforward macam ni. So nanti kita akan tengok exercise. Saya akan bagi exercise after we finish this chapter. Mungkin beberapa items investment, and then berapa item cash inflow. Okay, and then some of cash inflow just appear for once, okay, mungkin 1 tahun, mungkin tahun yang kedua saja, ataupun setengah cash inflow is similar for 1 to 5 years. So when it comes to the factor or discount rate, you have to know how to take from the annuity table or present value of $1 table. Okay, because later on you will get the present value of cash flow. Tak kira lah menggunakan annuity ataupun mungkin dia campur dalam satu table tu. Kalau macam ni, satu je kan present value. Kalau macam tadi, annuity value. But then maybe in here, it's question mix. Some you have to find from the PV table, some you have to find from annuity table. Okay, nanti kita tengok question dia macam mana. Okay, lepas ni lah. But for the time being, you have to understand this is the way how to calculate net present value. Okay, boleh tak? Okay, boleh ha? This is net present value. Okay, any question? This one? Okay. Alright, so move to next, yeah? IRR. IRR. Okay, formula. It is investment, initial investment or investment required, divide annual net cash inflow. Yang ni cash outflow lah, investment required kan, ataupun initial investment, sama. So this is the formula. And then this formula sama juga case like MPV just now. To get this net cash inflow, you have to get if net cash inflow same for each year, just use this one, right? But if there's unequal, so you have to add lah for each month and then proceed to this formula. Okay. So for IRR here, okay, IRR here, you can see from the perspective of net present value equal 0. Yang kita nak adalah net present value equal 0. Means that present value of cash inflow should be similar to present value of cash outflow. So let's say you calculate, yeah, you calculate to get the IRR. Okay, you calculate to get IRR. For example, okay, after you calculate the IRR, okay, for example, you put you have inventory, you have investment. Okay, for example lah, saya tulis kat sini investment required divide annual cash flow. Okay, and then you dapat, for example, 3.5. Okay, let's say this is internal rate of return, 3.5. Okay, so when you get this figure, you have to go back to table. If this is annual cash flow same, you have to go back to the annuity table, right? For example, for 5 years. And then you have to find out this investment yang dapat tadi 3.5 duduk di mana. Okay. So let's say 3.5 here, when you look into the percentage, is at 11%, for example. Okay, so you take this 11%, this is the internal rate of return, this percentage here, discount rate of internal rate of return here, you compare with the required rate of return set by the company. Let's say the ROR is 12%. Okay, let's say the ROR is 12%. Means that IRR here is actually less than ROR sebab 11% je. Okay, compared to what they said, 12%. So kalau IRR, dia punya rules, okay, must more or equal to ROR, baru kita accept the project. If less, then kita reject or kita not accept. Because if internal rate of return, just now kalau from the example 11-12% here, okay, jadi saya assume, jangan tanya saya dapat daripada mana, tadi saya assume, okay, gunakan table tadi. Maksudnya kalau less means that negative net present value. So kalau negative net present value, of course we reject back to the NPV just now kan. Kita hanya terima positive and zero saja. So kalau menggunakan internal rate of return, you have to compare dengan required rate of return, tengok more and then similar or equal, baru kita accept. This one is IRR. Boleh tak? So IRR ni you have to try and error lah sometimes ya. Sebab kat sini, tadi, right, because this one is just I give you assumption lah. So IRR you dapat 3.5. So kalau tadi kan, kalau contoh NPV tadi macam ni, NPV tadi dia bagi dulu rate, dia bagi kat you 12%. Okay, sini kalau contoh yang ni, okay, dia bagi you 12% and then you cari from the table, you get this figure. But now IRR, you calculate this first and then you have to find this one. Okay, you faham tak? So like a try and error. Sometimes we don't know where. We have to find out from the table lah. Okay, that's why you must know the annuity. If the cash flow is equal for each of the year. Kalau dia tak sama, you have to use table. PV of $1 here. Okay, sebab yang kita tadi, kita assume yang ni lah annuity sebab kita dapat satu rate saja kan. Okay, tadi kita assume kita dapat IRR 3.5. So you have to find out the percentage. Kalau NPV dia bagi dulu you kat sini. Ni dia bagi kat sini. Yang kita nak cari ni lah yang ni. Percentage ni based on the IRR yang you kira. Alright, so you compare these two, barulah you boleh tahu whether you will accept or reject the project. Okay, boleh tak? This is IRR. Okay, this is just assumption. Jangan tanya mana contoh, mana soalan dia, tak ada soalan. I assume. Okay, and then I also assume 11. Nak bagi contoh untuk compare dengan ROR yang you ada tadi. Okay, boleh tak? This is the rules that you have to follow. If you use IRR, whether you will accept or not. Okay, you have to compare with the ROR. If positive or if more than ROR or equal, then you accept. If negative, you reject. Okay, boleh tak? Boleh tak? Alright, and then last method, last approach in discounted cash flow method is a profitability index. Profitability index, this is the formula. Present value of future cash flow divide initial investment. Okay, so example tadi, kalau kita ambil tadi yang ni lah. Okay, mana tadi? Net present value tadi you kira, dia ambil yang ni. Okay. And then divide with the investment. Okay, so you dapatlah PI. So if PI more than 1, accept. If PI less than 1, unacceptable. Okay, boleh tak? PI ni senang je. Formula dia macam ni je. But then, yang susahnya selalu nak dapat yang ni. Ni cash flow ni. Because this one basically refer to one. Selalunya soalan ada main body question ni, you calculate sekali je cash flow. Okay, cash flow. Okay, for MPV for example. So this cash flow for MPV you will use for to calculate PI, to calculate IRR. Sama je. Okay, boleh tak? So this is the rules. Lebih 1 kita terima, kurang 1 kita tak terima. Okay, any question? So we this one, what? This one, okay, you read lah this one, yeah. The advantage, limitation of each of the method. Okay. So kalau dalam exam ada soalan ni, you kena jawab lah nah. This is the formula, it's already given. So you hafal this one. So table ni you kena tahulah. Okay, so you kena tahu kat mana nak simpan and kat mana you simpan. So if at least if you want to refer during exam, nanti you boleh refer. Senang nak cari. Alright, so any question? So we finish 5 approaches. So this one, I think I want to stop here. So this one I will masuk dalam kelas next Wednesday lah. Next Wednesday we will talk about the effect of inflation and taxation. Okay, boleh? And then I try to complete on Wednesday with exercise as well. I will upload the exercise question by today or tomorrow, and then try look at that question, try answer. Okay, then we discuss on Wednesday. Okay, boleh tak? So any question? Any question? We have 5 approach already. Okay, so hopefully you understand lah. We have 2 method, non-discounting method, discounted cash flow. And then for non-discounting method, we have payback and we have ARR. ARR using net income. Payback method, we will use cash flow. But for discounted cash flow, okay, discounted cash flow method, we have 3 approaches. MPV, IRR, and PI. And all of these, okay, the cash flow must be converted to time value of money. So you have to know how to read from the table, annuity and present value. Okay, sebenarnya yang tu je. Formula dia pun tak susah kan? Bukan complicated. Okay, boleh tak? So hopefully you go back and try study this before we proceed with the exercise next class. Sebab kalau you tak faham, bila kita buat exercise pun you tak akan faham. So better you faham dululah. Okay? Boleh tak? Okay, any question before we dismiss the class? So if you have no questions, so I think we stop here and I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, so okay, tak apa, sudah saya sharing balik lah attendance.